Today, I'm here to talk about the Sitecore Send product. We want to basically understand like how Send can be integrated with in any ecosystem actually. So as a marketing platform, how you can integrate it with Sitecore CMS, or you can integrate with any other platform, to be honest, based on its REST API integration. So yeah, small introduction for myself. I work as a lead software engineer with EPAM. I've had like 15 years of experience with around 12 years on Sitecore products. I think I've been exposed to working with XM Cloud, Content Hub, Send, and a few more. Okay. So overall, the contents that we will be seeing today. So we'll primarily focus on what is Sitecore Send, what is email marketing for us, and then we will go through the building blocks of the Send platform, what we use. Then we will talk a little bit about the API driven architecture that Send has. And then we will move on to a few process flow diagrams that I've tried to use from one of our practical project implementation with Sitecore and Sitecore Send. And we will then move on to its benefits. And then I will end with a quick demo and followed by Q&A. Okay, a little bit of history because on the Sitecore Send product, because a lot of people would know that it has been recently acquired by Constant Contact. So, although the platform is acquired by Constant Contact, there is a reseller agreement with Sitecore, which makes it like, I would say, responsible for all the support and everything as part of the all existing contracts that Sitecore has with the clients they have sold Sitecore Send product. Okay. Then coming to email marketing, I think when we see about email marketing, there are specific types of email marketing. It's used heavily in e-commerce industries. It's used heavily with government agencies who wants to kind of share their knowledge and all that. So typically the types include promotional marketing, newsletters, those sort of campaigns. And such an important aspect of it is transactional. So if I've purchased something, if I want to do some follow-ups based on what has been abandoned in my cart and all that. So those are the typical kind of email marketing that we see in general. So as part of the email marketing process, it's basically a 4-step thing. You first define what is your goal associated with the marketing. Then you go on to understand that what sort of campaign you want to prepare, what is your content for preparations. The third step is where we come into the picture. Any platform comes into the picture, which is like how you can basically execute this, your email marketing, and how the platform can help you in the preparation and the delivery. And the fourth and most important point is to track and measure how well your campaign has performed. And that's where I think Send does a good job in these areas. Now, when it comes to the features that we have on the Sitecore Send product, it allows you to actually cater to all these different types of marketing by it's using its campaign creators. And it also has pre-built templates which you can use. It also has drag and drop capabilities in terms of creating your templates and all that stuff. So that's really easy for any, I would say, person from non-technical background, a typical marketing background person to be familiar with the platform and do all that stuff. It also allows you to set up very easy sort of automations. Like a simple could be like there is a change in the type of preference of a particular customer and you want to trigger an email. All those sort of automations can be very easily done using its automation builders. And in the Gen AI phase, I think it's important to actually allow AI to actually create your content, tailor your content. So that's also supported in here. And the most important part is the analytics side of it. So within the dashboard, I will probably try to give a glimpse of it. And within the dashboard, it's very easy to actually go and see how your campaign has performed, how many clicks someone has done, and all that statistics associated with the email campaign that you have sent across. Now, coming to the building blocks. So typically I was talking about, there is a template builder which allows you to actually build your campaign. So you can see in the screenshot, I've tried to highlight that you have the option to choose different kinds of layouts and all that stuff. You have different views to actually preview your email and all that. Then you can actually create your own custom set of components. So you can go and build your own custom layout and save them. You can group together a few set of components, group them together, and that defines your new building block. And you can then use that building block for all your email campaigns. The another thing that I wanted to also highlight here is a certain loop and all those capabilities using Mushtaq syntax. So if you want to loop through certain variables and want to display all those lists, you have those sort of supports and all that here as well. You can also export or import HTML markup completely from outside, and you can build your campaign as well from the scratch. Okay. Next important thing is audience. So whom we are targeting our campaigns, right? So Sitecore Send allows you to define a custom set of fields. So you can go ahead and define all your custom fields or details that you want to save against a particular customer. And the another feature that comes in really handy is tags. So you can define unlimited number of tags. If you have certain capabilities that you want to keep tagging people with different, like, okay, I want to tag people with product, how many products that person has bought, and you can create tags for each product, and you can tag person who has bought all these products, and based on that you can actually trigger follow-up campaigns and all that. The other thing is, if you are an existing user of another automation email marketing tool, you can very easily import the audience onto this new onto the Send platform using Excel CSV, and it gives you a very interactive way of actually mapping each of the Excel columns to the individual custom fields that you have defined. And you can use any of these custom fields that you create to actually define your segmentation. So you can prepare n number of segments on your audience. Like, you can choose to prepare as many segments as you want against your audience, and it is rule based. You can say that, okay, if a person belongs to Sitecore user group poll, and I want to create a segment for that and all that stuff. Okay. The thing that is very useful for a small organization is these growth tools. So if you want to just build your email campaign automation without using any other platform, these tools come in really handy. So you can build your subscription forms. So someone can very easily subscribe to your email tool using these subscription forms. They can update their preference using one of these subscription forms. Then you can actually have certain landing pages, like kind of a welcome note. When they subscribe, you want to redirect them and show them a glimpse of what you want to give as part of this email subscription. So you can define a few landing pages as well using these growth tools. So it's basically, if you don't want to have an external site doing all this job for you, you can actually use these tools to actually build everything that is related to the email campaign management. Now, the third most important thing, which is campaigns, right? There are 3 different types of campaigns that are supported within this particular platform. The regular campaign, which is where you create all your different types of campaign, you can schedule them. You can actually target it to different audience. You can keep scheduling them, keep defining different templates for this campaign. Then comes your RSS and repeatable campaigns, which are like repeat emails. I know that I will be sending repeat emails every weekly. It can be a weekly newsletter and stuff. Or I want to send emails based on my RSS feed. So those things can be catered using this type of campaign. And the third one is the transactional. So this is what comes in really handy for big organizations or very targeted audience. I would say very specific audience target. Like, if some of my audience is doing a very specific action, I want to trigger an email. So those type of actions you can take by using the transactional campaign. And the good part about transactional campaign is that you can build it completely from scratch, from using API calls and all that stuff. So you can use some different platforms to actually do anything to do with the transactional campaign. You can even target specific email addresses rather than actually targeting the entire audience, the entire, I would say, segment users and all that. Now, with each campaign, as you can see in the dashboard, you can see a very short glimpse of open rates, click rates, and all of that. And if you want to deep dive, you have those icon on the side, wherein if you click, you get a much broader view of all the campaign related statistics and analytics. Now, this is something, the automation builder is something which is really handy. We used it a lot in one of our clients. And this is like wherein you can build very small things. Like if someone is updating their preference and you want to update them with the information that, okay, you have updated your preference to so and so things. And based on this, you will receive now these sort of email campaigns or emails from us. So you can use automation builders. It's easy, drag and drop. You can actually quickly, I would say, create something with very minimal technical knowledge. You can do all those rules and everything. And the another good thing is that it within the automation view itself, you get to see how many times the automation builder it has run, what sort of action it has taken, what sort of flow it has gone through. So you get to understand that how your users are interacting with the automation as well. Okay, yeah, and I think important thing for external integration via webhook. So we used it. So if you want to actually, based on some user action, you want to call some other Azure function and to do some other sort of action on your backend system, you can achieve that from the platform as well. Okay. Yeah, I think we will talk about why I see that Send as a platform is so much, I would say, it's not Sitecore specific, I would say. It is very much agnostic platform. So it's completely API driven. You can integrate this particular platform with any of your platform. It's basically everything that I was talking about within the system, right? The building blocks, the template creation, not the template creation, but the campaign creation, basically the audience creation, everything you can do it from the API. So broadly, they have four categories of APIs. We call the mailing list. The mailing list API is where you can create your mailing list. You can create your custom data associated with the audience creation and all that. Then comes your subscriber API. In the subscriber API, you can actually add subscribers to mailing list. You can create segments, do all that stuff. Then is your campaign related API, wherein you can actually create you can create, schedule campaign, and you can even retrieve all the campaign results set into other platform for reporting or any of the other use that you think is necessary. Yeah, so I think I spoke about segments already. So I've created a small Postman collection, which kind of helps you to actually play around with these, I would say, API calls easily. Okay. Yeah. So now we will just talk about how and this is more of a practical example of how we did it for one of our client. So basically, here I will talk about how we used Sitecore and integrated Sitecore with Send. So we created the subscription forms and everything on Sitecore. And then using API call, we are triggering the initial. So we went for a double opt-in strategy of email subscription, which is like always there will be a user will be sent an email, and only if they confirm that I have done this action and I want to subscribe, then only we opt in that particular user. So usually when someone comes to your form and they click on subscription, you will trigger an email. Once the email is sent out and the user clicks on that email, then the user becomes a verified subscribed user. And same goes with the unsubscription process. It's usually the unsubscription process is a one-click event. So, and that's by norm. So usually you have an unsubscribe form, and as soon as a user clicks on the unsubscription email, we ask them to just confirm their email address, and that's it. The user unsubscribes. Okay. Now, subscription management. So it's something that we implemented again on Sitecore side. We created an update preference form. The way we triggered this particular preference form was when the user comes in, you ask for the user email address. When the user gives us the email address and we submit it, we trigger an email with an update preference link. This link is a unique link that is generated within the Send platform and sent to the user. And when the user clicks on that link, we land the user with all their previous selections pre-populated. So it's easy for them and convenient for them to see what was their previous selections and then update them. And once they update it, again, it's via REST API call. We are updating it. And behind the scenes, we have the marketing automation, which plays the role of as soon as any preferences are updated, we usually trigger a follow-up email to the customer saying that you have updated your preference based on your recent updates. You will now forth be receiving so and so different emails based on your subscription changes. Okay. Next. Yeah. So this is, I think, something that we did in terms of getting the content from Sitecore and then using those content from Sitecore to build the campaigns within Send and then trigger the Send campaigns. I think we have my fellow colleague here, Konstantin. He worked actively on this particular module. So here what we are doing is that we have an Azure function which is acting as a scheduler. It checks the Edge, Sitecore's Edge API endpoint to see what new items were modified within the, I would say, a specific space within the content tree. So everything that is getting published within a particular time span, we are picking up all those items. We are filtering those items. We are grouping them based on their facets. So it could be based on any sort of facet we determine. And based on each of those facets, we determine which subscriber segment we should target to. So there is a mapping between the Sitecore grouping that we are doing for those campaigns and the segments that we have within the Sitecore Send platform, which we have defined. And based on each of those segmented, we fetch the segmented list. And then for each of those email campaign items that we have been published, we will create those campaigns within the Send platform. And we can go ahead and create transactional campaigns wherein you can push the entire markup from here, or you can actually go ahead and create regular campaigns for your campaign managers to review and then send. So we can do either way around. In our typical case, we were using transactional campaigns, and then each of those campaigns will be sent to those specific segment users. And after the those campaign operation was successful, we were actually utilizing Sitecore's mutation, GraphQL mutations, to actually update all those items to mark them that they have all been processed. So in the next chain of things, we will not be picking up these already processed campaigns. Okay. Let's talk about the benefits and limitations. So yeah, I think from our experience, what we see is that the Send campaign template builder, these aspects are pretty easy to use for any, I would say, non-technical person. You can very easily modify the existing templates or create something from scratch. The other aspect which I felt really beneficial was the marketing automations. It's easy to create any, I would say, a decent set of workflow within this marketing automation based on different set of rules that you want to define. It also gives you the option of actually selecting some predefined triggers, like what if someone has abandoned something in their cart, and based on that also you can trigger certain campaigns. So it's useful for e-commerce platforms. You can actually trigger emails based on someone who has clicked on a campaign and all those things. So all those things can be done using the marketing automation. The third, I think the most important or beneficial thing is the API driven nature. All the functionalities that we were just discussing, it's, I would say, at least 90% of the capabilities are API driven. So you can use the REST API to drive all those functionalities that we were discussing here. And that makes it really easy to integrate with any different platform. Even if you build integrations like on the Sitecore and you probably moving away from it, then also you don't need to actually scrap this part out because it's all API driven. Then I think analytics and reporting, it's quite built in. So there is no specific, I would say, external integration is not required. You can actually, another good part is that from the REST APIs, you can actually take its analytics out and you can actually use it in your own reporting tools or something of that sort. Yeah, I think when it comes to the pricing, it's pretty much, I would say, decent. I think except if you go on the use of transactional campaigns, it has a separate cost. But apart from that, all the other features that I was referring to, it comes under the same pricing package that we know of. And yeah, it's pretty much compliant with all the I would say all the different these things we have, like the European standards and all of that. So it's all compliant with the double opt-in and all those unsubscription, one-click unsubscription. Yeah, I think the limitations I see is the analytics in itself is flat, but it is not predictive. It's not AI driven. We are typically collecting all the statistics and displaying within the platform, but it's nothing that is AI driven. So for you to actually have it AI driven, you will need to pull those analytics out and do it by yourself. When it comes to the customizations within the template, I would say it's a little bit of tricky. So sometimes if we are building really complex email templates, it could be a little tricky. The main thing that I felt it lacks is multi-channel capabilities. It is typically an email marketing tool, not meant for SMS or push notification. As a marketeer, I think it's important that you have all these capabilities within the same platform. It makes it much easier for you to do everything. Yeah. I think the mobile app is something also very much lacking because, as you know, a lot of marketing team might not be always sitting on the desk and doing their job. So having a mobile app could have actually made things easier. Yeah, I think the other things are pretty much listed out here, but yeah, it's manageable. Like limited market as of now, it's not that very popular as Mailchimp or any other stuff we have around. But yeah, it might. It's a decent product, so it might pick up its space. Okay. Now, demo time. So typically on the demo, I will just highlight how we can use the Azure function to actually create campaigns that are based out of content items within Sitecore, and then use the API calls to actually create those campaigns within the Send platform and then send them to the users. So typically what I have done is that I've created for the demo purposes, I am not going into the Edge server. I'm just doing it from the classic, I would say, IDE itself. So here, I've created basically 3 campaigns. One of them is the very basic welcome campaign, wherein I've just given a very specific, very simple markup. And this one is where I am using, so this is a syntax for actually doing token replacement. So if I want to send personalized emails, I can use this sort of a token replacement. And this property that we see here, recipient colon name, this property will be replaced from the data that we have within the Send platform. So if I have a user here, I've created a very small segment of users, and so we have only 2 users. And so basically, whatever is the name that I have here will be used to actually send the email based on the token that I have used here. And so now let me, okay. So this is my Azure function that I have created. And so this is 3 functions which I have defined. One is to actually get the campaigns that are there, and I will probably execute them. And okay, let me try to print it. So yeah, so if you see over there, there are actually 3 campaigns here, and all those 3 campaigns are listed out here. So the section content is what we are using field. So section content field in here is my rich text field, which I am using to build the campaign markup that I have within this particular platform. So if I currently go in here and I check the regular, these are all dummy ones. So I don't have any campaign based on that. So let me go there and execute my next command, which is the create email campaigns. Okay, so it created the email campaigns. Let's go here and let's refresh it and see if we have the 3 campaigns. Yeah, so if you see here, we have created all these 3 campaigns and they're in the draft state. And you see, it picked up the exact same content that we have within our content editor. So the welcome one had a very basic markup. The welcome personalized one had the subject with the, I would say, replacement token. So if I go and open up the welcome this and I check the subject, you see it's having those replacement tokens and all that. And then what do we have? The third one was pretty much a simple one. And I also wanted to highlight how we can actually target different segments. So for that, what I did is in here, within the campaign, I have defined that I want to target my campaign to a very specific segment. And by the way, when we were creating this campaign, what I'm doing is that I'm using the Sitecore GraphQL mutation to update it here, saying that the campaign is created, and this is the campaign ID. So when I run my send campaign, I will utilize these attributes to actually trigger my campaign, and I will use this segment ID to actually target my campaign to only the audience that is defined as part of that particular segment. Okay. Now, so we have been able to create the campaigns. Let's go back and maybe now send the campaigns. Okay. Okay, the campaigns are sent. So let's go back, open up the campaigns once again. And yeah, so they are all now ready to be sent. So as soon as we, I think it will take about a minute, because usually there is a 1 minute delay, so that if by mistake you have sent out a campaign, there is always a way to act for you to cancel those. So there is a minute delay always between when you put the actual trigger button versus when the campaigns are actually sent. So within that time frame, we will be able to see. And once we have those campaigns sent, I will probably show you that how those token replacements are working. Meanwhile, I also wanted to showcase how we can utilize the growth tools while this campaign send operation is going on. So if you see here, you can define some landing pages like this, and I will grab this link and I will try to show how. Okay. So in here, I've just created a very simple, I would say, subscription form just using the Send platform. So it's pretty easy to create. You can go on to growth landing pages and you can start building something really new. And it's pretty much a cakewalk in terms of creating all these landing pages. You can give very basic stuff in here, and therein you can go ahead. Now let me show, this will also help you to get a glimpse of the template builder, how it is appearing. So you can choose one of these pre-select options. You can also start building stuff from scratch. Like if you go ahead and select from scratch, you can choose your layout and say that, okay, I want to use the full width container, and then you can easily use a drag and drop functionality here to actually build your own stuff. So you usually for smaller things, it's like basic stuff is available from here. You can actually use a form. You can associate a form to a specific, I would say, let me just select the form and then it'll open up its settings. Yeah, so you can actually select to which mailing list you want to associate. If you have multiple mailing lists, you can actually select which mailing list you want to associate your campaign with. And this is pretty much straightforward for you to actually build all these landing pages, and you can spin it up from scratch. And you can actually use these landing pages to update your preferences. Now, maybe I think I will try and showcase that as well. Okay, I have received. So you see here, since I received the email, it replaced the subject with my name. And that's how these replacements work. You can associate certain fallbacks. So for example, you have an audience which probably have not shared his name. So you can actually assign certain fallback values in the email campaigns and all that stuff. So now if I go in here, maybe, okay, and I click on change email settings, you can associate your, so it comes with pre-populated data. So that's the link that I was referring to. Like you can send some personalized links and you have the data pre-selected. Now let's say I change this, and this is where I will try to showcase how I've used marketing automation. Maybe I'll just change this subscription and save it. So my preferences are changed. And now I will try to showcase how I've utilized the marketing automation in here. Maybe I will just close this one for now. And so I created a very simple automation workflow for the demo. So wherein I'm saying that, okay, I created a custom field within the mailing list that I created, saying that is user in SUG Poland user group. If so, then trigger a welcome email. If I'm selecting no, then I'll just send an email which said sad to see you go. So if I will check, if it's usually with the 1 minute delay again, and that should execute. So basically, we can define very simple automation rules and trigger campaign based out of those automation rules as well. I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see if this automation has run. Okay. What do we see now? It's okay. I think I must have received, yes. So based on the automation, because I turned it off, I just got an email saying that, yeah, sad to see you go. So yeah, that's it from my side in terms of the presentation.